Good morning, everybody. Orange A here with another Etheria restart video, and today I'm finally getting around to doing my first impressions of this game. Now, I've had access to the game for a few days, but I've been pretty busy with school and coaching, and I'm only maybe 4 or 5 hours into the game. Still, it's long enough to know what I like about the game and maybe a concern I have for the game. So, what you're seeing right here, let's just go ahead and start with the basics, right? This isn't a game where you're constantly exploring an open world. I've heard a lot of people compare this game to Honkai Star Rail, and in Honkai Star Rail, you never have this like menu slash base screen like you have in like a War of the Visions or something like that. This is your home base. This is the menu of the game essentially. You don't freely roam a world and explore it like you do in Honkai Star Rail. Instead, after missions or whatever, you come back to your room right here. The ether link you see in the back of the screen right here is where you go do missions. You do pulls from right here. This is your workstation where you can work on stuff. You can customize things from the little robot right here, Chaku ring. So it's interactive. It's better than those gachas that where you just like kind of have a home screen and a bunch of menus on it. Those feel pretty dated. This feels like the next iteration of that. So a pro and a con. If you're somebody who likes those games where you don't have to just constantly roam around a world or warp from place to place, if you prefer more of the home screen thing, this could be the game for you. And the con is, if you do like that open world concept, you're not going to get it here. Now, from this area is where you dive into the levels of the game. I just hit the point a second ago where I need to actually level up my account to go to the next area. I need to hit count level 10. I don't love it when games do this. And that's another con of this game, is it does bar you from doing things based on how high your account level is. I heard Vulcan say this a lot when he's reviewing games. If I can clear it, let me in it. That's not how this game buys into that, but that problem does go away once you get to the true end game. So to show you what levels in this game are kind of like, I'm going to jump into an older quest real quick and walk you through what ends up being the dungeons in this game. So here you see we're in a digital world. I'm not going to include any spoilers in this part, but like this is just a digital world that we're going in. We're actually doing some research on a character in the game. There's going to be some Persona 5 looking stuff right there. Note I was using like a grappling hook. It's like a digital one here to kind of jump around the world based on like points where I can shoot it. Very Persona 5. And this game definitely takes some information or inspiration from Persona 5. Within the world, you will hit points where your other characters will start talking to you. That's what's happening on the screen here. And you'll hit some cutscenes. Now, you're going to hit a few too many cutscenes. This right here is a boss fight. I don't want to spoil too much right here and end up in the boss fight, so I'm going to jump out of this level. But the levels are very short. Did you see how short that boss level was? It was very, very, very short. I'm going to back up another level and show you what a not boss level looks like. So, again, pros and cons of that. If you're somebody who just really loves exploring a world and finding all the treasure chests and the little hidden things, you get that in this game, but not on the scale of a Honkai Star Rail. And it's another reason why I think comparing the games isn't accurate. Like, once I'm in here, I am free to move around. Like, I'm going to do the little thing where I walk across this, all that. And when you find mobs in this game, which there's going to be some here in a minute, I'm going to show you one of the greatest quality of life that this game has as I walk up on a treasure chest. There are chests in this game, and in fact, those look a lot like Honkai Star Rail treasure chests, just each map doesn't have as many of them because the maps aren't as big. Now watch this right here. The mob saw me and attacked me, so he ambushed me. Now I'm gonna have to fight it. That was on accident, but it is something that can happen in this game. Battling in this game does have 1x speed, 2x speed, and 3x speed. It also has manual and auto that you can toggle in your team setup. You set up your team by clicking the cards on or off, and the characters that you have will just walk out into the fight. I'll go ahead and like auto this on 3 times speed, and you're gonna watch this like obliteration that my team's about to do at a hyper speed. Like this AoE attack right here from the character we all get for free, basically wiped out the whole fight, and this is the level my account is at. Now, I have very powerful characters. My pulls on this server so far have been very, very blessed. So I kind of wish it was the live server instead of the test server, but it is what it is. So that was a fight in auto. You'll get plenty of that, and you might be thinking, good, trash fighting? I don't like fighting trash and it having to take a long time. Well, don't you worry, watch this. Here's something else you could do in this game. You can hide around corners and ambush the mobs. Watch me ambush this thing. And Okay, I have to fight this one. Now, sometimes when you ambush them, it will just execute them straight up, and you don't even have to come in here and do the auto fight. It will just kill them. Now, I haven't quite figured out why sometimes you have to fight them and sometimes you don't. But again, comparing it to a game like Honkai Star Rail, you have to pull Acheron to just assassinate mobs in the open world. So I'm not sure if it's based on the power level of your team or if it's based on if you fought that exact version of mobs before, but this is what a level kind of looks like. You traverse from checkpoint to checkpoint and you will hit these cutscenes a lot. Now I'm gonna pause right here on this cutscene because you know what I hate about Hoyo games? You gotta watch every cutscene. I am currently replaying this dungeon. Notice I can get drops from the mobs while replaying the dungeon, so this might be a viable way to farm stuff. And if I don't want to watch these cutscenes again, check out the top right corner here. There's a skip button. I skipped everything I had to watch right there. Now I'm in a little investigation scene where I investigate this room to move on. I'm not gonna mess with that. Instead, what I'm gonna do is back out of this level and just continue to talk about the game. So one thing that I want to mention when you're comparing this game to other games you've played, it has a lot of quality of life. Just right off the bat, it doesn't feel cumbersome to progress this game in most ways. Now I say in most ways because in these short dungeons that I was just kind of walking you through, they are very short. There are more than enough cutscenes. Is that what I mean? More than enough? Or do I mean there's too many cutscenes? There's a lot of cutscenes. They really like to tell some story. At least that's been my experience so far. And I've skipped a few. Even though this is my first time playing through, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I get what we're doing, skip. And while it's annoying to maybe have things over-explained to you, it is a beautiful thing that if you feel like it's being over-explained, you can just pass over it. So that is the biggest quality of life upgrade between this game and maybe like Hoyoverse games. Now, another early impression that I've had is when it comes to the animuses or the characters in this game. Character design on point. And I already kind of knew this coming in, just watching other people's videos, watching the previews for this game. But the characters that you get to just start off, Gray, Dorothy, you catch a Dorothy really early on for free. I just pulled this guy. Okay, I don't like Yang's design. Not a furry dog fan guy. There's a kind of another one like that. But like, look at Valerian right here. And like, I just think the character design is on point. Now, when comparing it to other games, some games do a very good job of fleshing out their characters, and you feel more attached to those characters because of their backstories, because of their side stories and things like that. Now, I haven't played through much of the game yet, so old Turandot right here, I have no idea what her side story's like. She looks cool. She's a very good character that synergizes very good with the SSR character you start the game with. So I like that about her, and that's why I've messed with her and used her some. But there is a character like Sonya here. Now, Sonya is someone who I've run into in the story, and it's been one of the better parts of the story. This character has a very good story arc very early in the game and has an SSR version of her that you can pull that you might have seen in those other banners. So there is some character development happening here that does connect you to the characters, which is, I think, something that like Honkai Star Rail does so well. Like when they release a new character, there's a trailer for the character and it's usually a banger. Like you watch Robin come out, sing her song, and then you summon her in the fight and she sings her song and it like changes the battle music. They don't have maybe that level of hype yet, but the game's not out. They haven't released any trailers for new characters yet. I will say, Ling Luo here, which I think I said that right, when she does her signature move, she is also someone who sings and that music plays. So maybe a little inspiration from HSR there, I'm not sure, but the character models look really good. My wonder is if they can connect you to the characters in the same level that like some Hoyo games do. Or if you're a Final Fantasy, if you're a Square Enix player like I am, we already come into the game connected to most of those characters because a lot of them are crossover characters from other Final Fantasy games. So that'll be something that this game's going to have to tackle. They're gonna have to conquer that. There is a companion robot that follows you around, but it's really not super annoying. It's this guy right here. Mostly he just kind of helps you unlock doors in the world and then serves as your menu that you can go to and like claim your achievements. The game has not been stingy in terms of giving you pulls and Hydra crystals, which are the premium currency early on. Now, I will say that on the test server, you basically just kind of walk in to 30 pulls and you get through that newbie banner insanely fast, which is one of the reasons I have so many characters. But like as you progress through these, every so often, you just unlock a bonus prize. Like right here, that's a pull. Just unlocked a pull. As soon as I do 5 more, I'll unlock another pull. So there are achievements to collect. The achievement rewards are meaningful and lead towards pulling, which is something that, like, I want to stress to gacha game developers. People like to pull. Free-to-play players, low spenders, they like to pull. We all know whales like to pull and they get to pull everything. So that's a thing. There are guilds in this game. It's going to have a community system. So I made a random guild called Eileen. I'll probably make this exact same guild in the actual launch version of the game and be inviting you guys to come play in it. There are a lot of things you could do in here. Obviously, I haven't unlocked them all yet, but there's guild boss fights. There's going to be guild content that you and your friends can do together. Great. I'm not going to judge it solely on what's there at launch. That there is something there at launch is something that, like, it's killed games. Anybody who played Echoes of Mana, there was a guild system in that game someday maybe, and like you could do stuff. There was plans for that, and it never came out, and it kind of killed the community. Having guilds that can do things together, let's do it. Guild bosses, stuff like that. I think it's a great idea. Cool looking screen right here. Once again, you don't get to freely explore it, but this isn't a game where you freely explore things. This is a menu-based game, but there's a lot to do. One other thing I want to mention before I kind of wrap up this first video is I'm a competitive person. I like to compete in my games. I like PvP. I like leaderboards. And I want to stress this right off the top. 2 things. First thing, if you don't like to compete, I do think there is still something in this game for you to enjoy. The story, again, I'm only a few hours deep into the story. You saw where I was. But the backstory of this like post-apocalyptic world is catchy. What I've seen of some character side story stuff is good enough to grab me. So it's probably a game, if you like turn-based combat, that's worth playing for that reason. There's auto, there's 3x speed, there's convenience features in the game to help you kind of push through if you just want to experience the story, in which case you don't care about competing. Any game with competing that's a gacha game, whales are going to have an advantage on. And that's the second thing I want to say. So if you like to compete, if you're somebody who, like, if you're not at the highest level of arena, you better be willing to open your wallet to pull that off. I think that's a safe bet. Same with the PvE leaderboards that are going to exist in this game. You're going to probably have to whale to be number 1 or number 10. But if you're comfortable, light spending, free to play, and over time making yourself relevant in those modes, I think that's going to be there. And I want to stress again, as I mentioned money, there is obvious team building synergy, and I can't go into this too deep yet, between characters like Turandot. As I throw her onto the screen, I had to like edit. I didn't have the game on when I was talking about that. She has a move like Buff, which gives you 2 turns attack and defense up for your allies. Or somebody like Gray, which we all start with for free, who gives a crit rate buff to your allies. And then you have people like Leon, who you also just get for free in this game. And one of her best move, Blazing Wings, is a like multi-shot randomly hitting attack, really good at popping bosses. If that boss is the only person out there, it does more hits based on the amount of buffs that she has. So building around her with these 4-star characters, there's like an easy synergy to see, and there's a lot of those synergies built into the game. If you have somebody like Ling Luo here, her AoE heal also extends your buffs by a turn, so team building is going to be a thing. There's the elemental weakness system to build teams about, all of that. The team building aspect seems like it's going to be fun. I'll have to get deeper into the game to see how much that really matters. And, you know, it'll matter more on the real server than on the test server. Anyway, on this server, I really just want to play a lot of the characters. Another cool thing about the characters is the SSR characters, when you do battles, level up very, very, very slowly. And maybe that's because they're at 4 stars. And at 5 stars, they level up even slower. At 6 stars, they level up even slower. Whereas like these dudes, you do a fight and they just start leveling up. There's like 8 in EXP leveling up, but they're only at 3 stars. And then these people level up real fast, but they're only at 2. So like maybe as you star level up people or get higher star level characters, they will level up slower or faster. I think that's a neat way of keeping these, of when you start the game, letting you use your level up materials. So for example, if I wanted to level up Tiamat a little bit here, I could use my leveling books here to start giving her experience. And there you go, I'll throw another level at her, get her to level 14. Neat. You can see her stats increased. Leveling up is important, but it lets you, if you only have 1 or 2 SSR characters, focus your leveling materials on them, and then your SR characters will just kind of level up as you play with them through the game. And then, you know, if you star them up later or something like that, which I imagine is a system in this game, it seems like an obvious one, there you go. Can't comment on the shops or deals or anything like that yet because they're not in the game. Obviously, no like rare events or something like that in the game, but there's an event tab. And like right now there's a commission event where you'll get Ling Luo here. Hey, yo, I was just showing her off. Complete 7-day commission to obtain her. So there you go. One of the best healers in the game. Definitely a healer I'm using. We're all going to get hooked up with her too. Another boon for the free-to-play and low spenders. Okay, I feel like I've said a lot. It's fun. Let me just wrap it up with this. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I love turn-based combat. I don't like inconvenience. This game removes inconvenience and it's turn-based combat. The characters look cool. The story so far, for the little bit I've played, has been engaging. And those are kind of my final thoughts. All right. Let me know what you think about what you saw. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see in particular. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.